Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there lived a young giraffe named Gigi. She was tall with golden spots and a long neck that allowed her to see the most amazing views from the highest trees. At night, the sky would sparkle with stars and the moon would shine brightly over the land. Gigi loved to gaze at the stars and dream of adventures in faraway lands. She would often close her eyes and imagine what it would be like to fly like the birds or swim like the fish. One evening, as the sun began to set and the sky turned a beautiful shade of purple, Gigi felt a little different. She stood under the great oak tree where she always watched the stars, and she felt a soft breeze brushing against her fur. It was a magical breeze, one that whispered a secret only Gigi could hear. The wind seemed to call her name softly. Gigi, Gigi, come closer, and you will see something wonderful. Curious and excited, Gigi followed the wind through the forest. The trees around her seemed to sway in time with the breeze as if they too were guiding her to something special. She walked past the tall grass and over the small stream until she reached a hidden meadow she had never seen before. In the center of the meadow stood a sparkling fountain. The water glowed with a soft light, and the air smelled of sweet flowers. Gigi felt a sense of peace and wonder. As she stepped closer to the fountain, she noticed something strange floating above it. Small, glowing butterflies danced in the air. Their wings shimmered with golden light. Gigi felt like she was in a dream. The butterflies flew in a circle, and one by one they landed on her back. Each butterfly touched her and whispered a secret message in her ear. Their voices were gentle and soft. Gigi smiled as the butterflies flew away, and a magical light surrounded her body. Her legs grew stronger and her neck stretched even taller. She could feel herself rising above the ground. Slowly, she floated into the air. The magical breeze caught her, and she began to soar through the sky. The stars twinkled brighter than ever before, and the moon seemed to guide her as she flew higher and higher. The magical night sky stretched far and wide beneath her. Gigi could see the entire forest below and beyond the mountains and rivers. She could see places she had only dreamed of visiting. The world looked so big from up here, and Gigi felt like she was a part of something much greater than herself. But then something unexpected happened. As Gigi flew higher, the sky began to darken. Clouds gathered around her, blocking the stars and moon. The gentle breeze turned into a strong wind that pushed her in different directions. The once peaceful flight became difficult as Gigi tried to keep control. She had never flown this high before, and the air was so thin her wings began to feel heavy and tired. She could no longer see the glowing butterflies or the shining fountain below. Suddenly, a loud rumble echoed through the sky, and a bright flash of light appeared in the clouds. Gigi felt a jolt of fear in her heart. The wind howled louder, and her wings flapped faster to stay steady. But no matter how hard she tried, she was losing control. Gigi started to fall. The world below her spun as she descended through the clouds. Her heart raced, and she closed her eyes ready for the fall. But just as she was about to hit the ground, something soft caught her. She opened her eyes and found herself gently floating on a soft cloud. It was the same cloud that had been guiding her earlier. It surrounded her in a warm light and gently lowered her to the ground. Safely, Gigi was amazed and thankful for the cloud's help. She realized that even though she had felt scared and lost, she was never truly alone. The forest, the stars, and even the clouds were all looking out for her. As Gigi stood back on solid ground, she noticed that the clouds began to clear. The sky turned bright once again, and the moon shone down like a beacon. She was no longer afraid, and she knew that sometimes it was okay to feel a little lost or uncertain, because there was always help around the corner even when you can't see it. Gigi walked back through the forest to her home with a new understanding. She felt proud of herself for staying calm and trusting in the help that came when she needed it the most. She gazed at the stars once more and smiled, knowing that her adventure had taught her something very important. The lesson Gigi learned that night was that no matter how big the adventure or how scary the journey might seem, help is always there when you need it. Sometimes the road gets tough and it feels like you're all alone, but there are always friends waiting to guide you back to safety, just like the wind and the clouds guided her back home. And so, Gigi the giraffe went to sleep that night, with a heart full of courage and a mind full of dreams, knowing that no matter where her adventures took her, she was never truly alone. Morale of story: even when things seem difficult and you feel lost, help is always there if you stay calm and trust that good things will come your way.